That's okay. Good morning. Hi, Ten George Realty. It's a nice, very nice Monday morning, and I hope you had a nice weekend. Over the weekend it's a little bit foggy in my area, but I don't know about yours. It's kind of foggy, but still, the Sunday was pretty nice. It was sunny, and temperature was nice. So I hope you're enjoying it. Well, it's almost the middle of December already. 2025 is drawing to an end pretty soon, and I'm sure that you're busy with shopping and for the Christmas and the New Year. But don't overlook your real estate practice too much, okay? And th at this point, you should be concerned about or should be aware that the next year's business plan is very important. So this is time to sit down and really be serious about planning for 2026. And actually, Michelle and I will be helping you this Wednesday. We have a lunch and learn this Wednesday, particularly for drafting or for formulating a business plan for the agents. So I hope you can join us, and it should be fun. It will be an open forum, and if you have a good idea, you can use it that too. So I hope you can join us this Wednesday. Now, as you expected, the Federal Reserve has reduced the interest rate by 25 percentage point last Wednesday. That was a good news for everybody, and kind of widely expected that. But there's a little bit of a cautious um, in the reduction of interest rate because the Fed still think that the inflation is not fully under control. So it's kind of optimistic, optimistic for us all, and I think the Fed will be looking into having another 25 percentage point in maybe March of next year. But it still has to be seen. We'll see what the economy is doing, and but meanwhile, it helps. It will help the mortgage rate as well as the commercial real estate refinancing, and it will also help the affordability of the new home buyers too. So this is the time to convince your clients that this is a time to get into real estate. And actually, the next year is supposed to be a better year, a good year for the real estate. The inventory will increase by 3.6%, and the price will increase by 2.6%. So don't expect the price of the real estate will drop. It will still maintain its position in 2026, especially in California. So with that, I would like to turn to the affiliates. So we have Sandy Franco from First American Home Warranty. Sandy, good morning.
Good
Welcome.
morning, everyone. Good morning. Can't wait to see everybody on Friday. That's number one. Number two, Peter's right. Everything we do now in December and January is how your next year is going to go. I mean, we can take some time off for the holidays, enjoy your family, let's do all of that. But don't focus on what your job is, what your career is. You've chosen this and you have to work it. We don't just take months and months off work. We have to work. You don't have, take a couple of days off for the holidays. I get it. If you want to farm, I will bring door hangers and baggies to the party. Okay? Don't have to pass them out that day or that week. But if you have them and you're ready, you know what? You can stuff flyers of these things while you're hanging out with the family. Make the kids do it, right? I mean, you can incorporate fun into doing this also. But I'll bring the tools. And I think Peter's right also about 2026 being a better year for real estate. I really do. I think it's a turnaround. And I think we're starting to slowly see it happen now. And I think it only gets better. But if you are not ready for it, other real estate professionals will be.
Mm-hmm.
And they will get the listings that you're supposed to get. You have phenomenal affiliates associated with this office. We've been here forever. Our combined experience is Goes back to the arc, probably. Use us. That's what we want you to do. Your success is our success. We've all got different tools and different ways to do things. Match with who you want to match with, see what works for you, and be successful. Okay, that's what I wish for everybody for next year. Okay, so I'll see you guys on Friday. Have a great week.
Wonderful. We're looking forward to that, Sandy. Appreciate that very much. Okay, the next we have Maria Howard from Old Republican Home Unwanted. Marie, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Well, I hope you all had a wonderful weekend and you had some time to do some Christmas shopping, cooking, relaxing, whatever your traditions may be in your home. So, Merry Christmas to everybody. But we just launched our new plan. We have our 7.2 plan effective December 1st. Good news, no change in the trade call fee. It stayed the same. We had a slight bump on our coverages on our plans, probably about $25. And our options did not change. They are exactly the same. So, other than the fact that we have a fabulous team, great service, like Sandy says, we also have free door hangers with a different look, different wording on the front. Use both of them. Hey, they're there for free. You get packages of 100, put your business card, and go around the neighborhood, grab some friends, get your best tennis shoes, sneakers, pass your best snacks, as my grandson would say, grandma, snacks, and water, and just go out and have a good time. As we get ready to close out this year, I think the most thing, what everybody would say in this room is that they're just grateful for another year. Completion with their families. For those of you, like my dear friend Sandy, who had a pretty scary scare this year. So she got the best Christmas miracle of all. You know, every day is not the same, but our attitude and gratitude can be. So remember that as we close out this year, and I look forward to working with you in 2026. So you all have a fabulous day. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Maria. Good,
Yolanda?
good. Okay, we have Yolanda in the training room. Good morning, Yolanda.
Hi,
Thank you for
Peter.
joining
Hi,
us.
Michelle. Hi, George Realty. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. This is the ideal and perfect time to prospect all your past customers. I've been doing this for almost 44 years. I would go visit all my clients. Back in the day, I would bake them a cookie platter. You can get a bottle of wine, a little candy from Trader Joe's, but this is the perfect time to reunite with a lot of your past customers. You'll be surprised. You know, things have changed in their life-changing events. They may have to move or sell, or they may have children that are now of age that can purchase. So I love this time of year. It's the perfect time to prospect. So I hope to see all of you Friday. I'm looking forward, Peter, to
Oh, you're coming?
Friday's
Good.
party.
Good.
And
Yeah.
yes, I want to wish everybody a wonderful day. Yolanda Martinez Arandas,
Okay.
WFG National Title Company. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, Yolanda. Looking forward to seeing you on Friday. Okay, I think that's all the affiliates, and we don't have affiliates spotlight today. But Michelle will be talking about some tips on the BRBC because she has received so many questions about BRBC lately. So Michelle, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, so the BRBC, as you know, is required for purchases, and we must have it. So I've let it populate the way it populates. So I'm only going to go over the BRBC, but of course you need to do an agency, and that populates right on top of it, of the BRBC. So here we are into the buyer representation and broker compensation agreement. I just filled this out as a sample. So date prepared is today. Right to represent Sam, who is an individual, and High 10 Partners Inc., or you could use High 10 George Realty, but I just use the corporate name. Now the representation period If it's an individual, which Sam is, it cannot exceed 3 months. And I did see one that exceeded 3 months on an individual, and you see this is void if you do that. So it can't exceed 3 months for an individual. However, LLCs, corporation, or partnerships are different. It can exceed 3 months, but if you've done it on an individual over 3 months, this whole agreement is void, and it says it right here. So another box to be mindful of is the type of representation. Normally, we're always going to check exclusive. If we're working with somebody and running around and looking for property, we certainly want to have the chance to be compensated. So I would recommend that you always make it exclusive. And once you make it exclusive, when you're having the buyer sign, don't forget they also need to initial paragraph 15, and I'll roll back to that. So the property type, you can check all that apply. This defaults to a single family residence already. For this sample, I've checked multifamily 2 to 4 units. Or, you could have checked vacant land, commercial, whatever type of property that you're assisting the client on. The location, I like county rather than city. Because if you were showing in one city and then they jump to another and you didn't have the city on here, I just like it to be just take the counties. It's a lot safer, and I think it's a lot easier to fill out. Okay, so this page is really important, and then the 15, because if you miss something, it could invalidate the agreement. That's why we wanted to go over it really quick with you. Your amount of compensation always has to be filled in. You're either going to express it in a percentage or in a dollar amount, okay? Or if there's any extra dollars, excuse me. And you can express completely in dollars. Normally, we're going to do a percentage, okay? So here, the continued right to payment for broker-involved properties, you would have to provide a list to the buyer if you were involved in showing properties to them. I always cap it at the 90 days, the length of this agreement. And that means if they enter in a contract on any of the properties that I was involved showing them, providing that I did provide a list of those properties, then I may be entitled to compensation. So if you look at the cancellation rights, the non-exclusive, they could cancel you right away upon receipt of the cancellation, but exclusive, the cancellation is not effective until 30 days, or you could have amended the time, but you cannot exceed 30 days here. Okay, so I just usually let this default to the 30. I don't have anything to say on this, but you should already have their financials. You should have talked to their lender and have a letter from their lender already. I do not fill out the BFPI. I let the lender handle their financials as long as I have a letter from the lender that they're qualified. This box on G2 is really important. If the buyer says to you, I do not have the money saved up to also pay commission, then you need to check the box. You need to, that's your fiduciary. So what that says is the buyer does not have sufficient funds to pay the broker. The broker will request in the offer that the seller pay the broker. Now there's 3 ways it can go. The broker can the seller can say, okay, they can counter your commission, or they can say no. But what we're seeing is that most sellers, I don't think we've seen one yet, is participating. The only way I could see them not participating, maybe if it's a fixer that may be a little bit under market, or it's a hot property where they're, receiving multiple offers. But those are the 3 ways it can go. But please check the box if you need to have the conversation with your buyer to be fair to them. Make sure that they understand what the commission would be, how it works. Like if you ask for 3% in the offer, maybe the seller only offers to pay 2%. If this box is not checked, the buyer will owe that additional percentage point to you through escrow. Okay, so I'm going to jump down here. I would suggest everybody read this. I've read it a few times, but today I'm just showing you how to fill it out. 15 has to be initialed. This exclusive representation box needs to be initialed by the buyer to make it exclusive. You need to check the box on the front of the contract like I showed you, and also have them initial it. And always remember, if you're working a SAM as an individual, but if this were an entity, I would check the box. I would put the name of the corporation, trust, whatever it is, and here I would put the name of the legally authorized signer. So if you have an entity that is on this form, make sure you're clicking this box back here and filling it out. And so that concludes this. This also populates with a buyer investigation advisory, and it populates with the broker compensation advisory, letting them know that everything's negotiable with commissions and possible representation of more than one buyer. And the CCPA is attached, okay? So all of that you would need to have with your BRBC. Now, do you need to submit this with your offer? No. The listing agent, if you're selected, they can ask to see it. You cannot go over, let's say this is for 3%, you can't put 4% on the offer. You can go under or at the same, but you can't go over. So make sure that you understand that and don't exceed whatever your BRBC says, the percentage point, or if you ask for a straight fee. Okay, so are there any questions?
I have a comment, Michelle. You know, if you check the box where this buyer does not have the sufficient fund to pay the broker's fees, that means that if the seller doesn't want to pay, you have no recourse to the buyer. So the buyer will not have any obligation to pay you anything if the seller doesn't pay you. So you have to negotiate with the buyers. There's three options. One is that you have either get some other concession, or you have the broker, the seller, to pay you to represent, not to represent the buyer, but that the seller would pay you some kind of fees to compensate with your representation, or not the representation of the buyer. Or you just say, okay, forget it, I am not going to represent the buyer, and the buyer will go to get another agent to represent him. So those are three options. Okay.
And if that ever happened where you weren't representing the buyer, there is a form that you would fill out to state such and have the buyer sign so that you're clear of the agreement, okay? But like, again, we haven't seen that happen. The sellers have been participating in compensation. They have countered it down, but they have been participating. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm going to stop the share.
I got a question.
Any more questions for Michelle? Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Peter. This is Buddy. I got a question regarding E3 about the
Okay.
90 days after the expiration of the representation. Can we put more than 90 days?
No.
I take it to the limit of the agreement continuation.
So so the limit is 90 days, the maximum.
Well, not technically, but I mean, how long do you want to be tied up, checking on somebody? I don't know. That's just my thought. And
Okay.
in the past, on the old agreements, when we would put a continuation period, I always had just 90 days, because how long am I really going to be checking, And remember, Buddy, you have had to submit a list to the buyer. There is a CAR form
Yes.
of the
Yes.
properties you were involved showing.
Yes.
And then you
yes.
have to watch out for those properties to see if they get an escrow on them, which, takes a little work to figure out. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? Okay.
Okay, if no question, we'll continue with this meeting. And I do have some announcements to make. We'll have a lunch, as I said, I mentioned before, we have lunch and learn on the formulation of a business plan for agents this Wednesday. Is at 1 o'clock. It's lunch and learn. A light lunch will be served. Michelle and I will be leading the discussion. All the agents are welcome to participate. It's an open forum, and we'll discuss different ways of like formulating your business plan, and which is very important to have a roadmap for next year. So I hope everybody, if they have questions regarding how to do it, come to learn and come to share with us. Okay, this is Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and this Friday, as we said, is the Christmas party for our company, and it's on popular demand that this will be in the Alhambra office. We will have a lot of food, a lot of drinks and desserts, and a lot of fun with the agents mingling each other. And last time everybody was having a good time, so they want to have it in the office instead of in the restaurant. So it will be this Friday at from 1 to 4 o'clock. Okay. And also, James Chow promised to open up his karaoke system for us to sing and have fun after the party. And so whoever wants to show their talent in karaoke they're welcome to join us with that. Okay. And there will be no meeting next week because of the Christmas holiday. And the office will be closed on Christmas Day. Actually, it will be closed early on Christmas Eve. That is Wednesday. The office staff will be leaving earlier at the 4 o'clock instead of 6. And then the office will be closed on Friday and Thursday, the 25th. And there will be no training on this Friday. Actually, not this Friday, but next Friday there will be no training next Friday also. And other than that, so we'll wish you a Merry Christmas, and hopefully you can come to the Christmas party this Friday. Okay, any more questions? If no questions, I would like to call Michelle to talk to us about the listing and sales for this week. Michelle?
Okay, so we have new escrows at 419 North Chandler Avenue, number 322, 690,000 residential condo. That's Nina Shu and Tatiana Dang. 168 South Monterey Street, number 520, Alhambra, 1.4 million. Miles Chow is the listing agent and the selling agent, residential condo. New listings this week, 927 West 48th Street in Los Angeles. That's Kenny Fan, income property at 799,000. 159 East 104th Street in Los Angeles, 799. Income property, that's Juan. 225 Laurel Avenue in Arcadia. That is a residential lease, $4,500 a month. That's Amy Wang's lease. 1055, I think it's Last Pool Gas in Pacific Palisades. That's land, and it is by Gary Lee at 2.470. 318 Bellino Drive in Pacific Palisades. Gary Lee again for land. 3.160 is the list price. 611 Eskin Drive, Pacific Palisades. Gary Lee, 1.840. 17053 Bollinger Drive, Pacific Palisades. Land, Gary Lee, 3.32. 2574 Geshnet Avenue in Altadena, 1,035,000 land. That's Gary Lee. 1813 9th Street in Santa Monica, income property at 3.250. That's Gary Lee's listing. 32941 Pacifica in Lake Elsinore. That is a lease by Alden Lai, residential, $3,500 a month. 120 North San Gabriel Boulevard in San Gabriel. It's a business opportunity, $200,000. Karina Pang is the listing agent. 11 West Main Street in Alhambra. Karina Pang is a listing agent for a business opportunity at $148,000. And closed escrows 16045 Jackson Drive in La Puente. That's Jesus Alvarez, residential, closed at $626,500. Great listing week. Congratulations to all of you.
Yeah, we have a lot of listing this week, seems like.
Yes.
Gary, especially Gary Lee, huh?
Yeah.
There's a lot of lands on for sale.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. I hope all the sales, all the listing will be materialized. That would be a good,
Yeah.
good, bonus questions for Gary. All right. Anybody who have the listings, new listings that was not mentioned, and anybody who wants to pitch the listing or any reduction in prices? Anyone at all? Or anyone want to share the thrill of success and the agony of defeat? No? Okay, pretty quiet, huh? Well, if nobody wants to talk, then I'll go jump into my sharing today. I want to talk to you about today's topic is the December 2025 form release. This kind of topic is always boring, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
It's because it's at every June and December, the California Association of Realtors has a new form release that update all the forms and all the new forms, and as a necessary evil because in order to practice real estate, you should be pretty fluent with the forms, and you should know what the forms are about, and you should use the updated forms instead of the old forms, because the old forms, the California Association of Realtors will not guarantee their legality. So if something happens, and if you are using the old forms, then you are in danger of being sued or get in trouble with the DRE and things like that. So it is, as I said, it's the nature of the beast, that is a necessary evil, and I do want to emphasize that you should pay attention to the releases each year. It's in June and in December, and this one is going to be released, I think, this week, either on Wednesday or early next week. I think it's going to be this week. But anyway, I will give you a preview of what is going to what the new forms release is about. So now there are only two new forms. The first one is the red realtors acknowledgement and disclosure, and we only have the realtors acknowledgement, and this time we have added the disclosure as well because of the required by the new law, the Code of Ethics, and also including the relationship to a principal and disclosure related to the compensation. So this is a brand new form. Actually, not a brand new form, but pretty much the new form that includes the disclosure. And the other form, as I said, there's only two new forms. The other new form is UOA, I'm sorry. Yeah, and solicited offer attestation. As you know that from certain zip codes, if you're doing a deal on those properties, you're supposed to include as an attestation saying that this deal is not as a result of unsolicited offer. In other words, you should not, if the seller does not initially wants to sell, you cannot go and ask them, you want to sell your property. It only applies to certain zip codes, and those zip codes are related to the wildfire which occurred in January of 2025. And so if they are within those zip codes, you have to include this UOA, and then you have to record it, by the buyer. Okay, and so these are the two new forms. All the other forms are, usually some of them are extensive modifications. Some are very minor. So I just try to go through it a little bit with you. The first one is AAA. That's additional agent acknowledgement. It has add the checkbox to add 5 more agents and change the landlord to housing provider. That's all the changes. And then we have the already built subdivision purchase agreement and joint escrow instruction that only is updated because of that we need to conform to the changes in RPA. And then you have confirmation of real estate agency relationship, change the landlord to housing provider to confirm the signature acknowledgement. Then we have the agent commission sharing agreement. This is very minor changes. Actually, you don't really have to really concern about it. And it's silent. In other words, it's not really disclosed to the public. It's just it's a very minor change. Buyer's counter offer, you clarify the time frame when there's a late acceptance. Then you have a business purchase agreement just to confirm with the RPA. Now, a lot of these changes either to conform with the RPA where they have substantive changes, or the leasing agreements, or the listing agreements, and so when a lot of those like minor changes, like for example, this business purchase agreement is one of them. Then we have buyer representation and broker compensation agreement, the BRBC. As Michelle mentions, this is that if it's exclusive, the representation period should not exceed 90 days. And then you have added reference to the new CAR forms to conform with the red, which I just mentioned, which is the new form, and for certain realtor disclosures, and clarify that when the agency is terminated. Then we have cancellation of agent confirmation, amendment to purchase agreement, just added language to help clarify when and how to use this form. Then we have condo conversion subdivision purchase agreement that conform to the change in RPA. So and also the commercial and residential income listing agreement also is changed to conform to the changes in RLA. And then we have a commercial purchase agreement also, which is updated to conform to changes in RPA. Then we have notice of change in terms of tenancy. And we have in that we have added the language required by law to requiring the housing provider to provide a stove and refrigerator on all the new leases or amendment. And you know that this is the new law that you have to provide the stove and refrigerator effective January 1st, 2026. Okay, so this changes added to the requirement of the law. And then you have disclosure of information advisory, clarify that the SPQ can be used by the exempt sellers who have material information about the property. And also they have a conformed signature and acknowledgement. Then we have demand for mediation, which you change the name of the mediation service and updated to make it usable in the dispute between the landlord and the tenant. And then we have extension of lease, added language to provide by law required by requiring the housing provider to provide a stove and the refrigerator on all new leases, which is mandated by new law. Then we have extension of time amendment. You conform the paragraph to be the same as other agreements and amendments with the expiration of offer, acceptance, and not accepted sections. Then we have homeowner association request for required statutory documents and changes, and that was updated to include the requirement of inspection of balconies and elevated elements. So this makes the incorporate the new law into this homeowner association request form. And then we have lease listing that has to be conformed to the changes in our LA. And then we have marketable letting services addendum, added an option to begin the marketing option selected in the future. Then we have move-out inspection, which added the information to the instruction sheet related to the new law that may require the housing provider to return the security deposit electronically. So that's one of the new law requirements too. Then we have new construction purchase agreement, conform to the changes in RPA. Then we have notice of default purchase agreement, also need to be conformed to the changes in RPA. Notice of right to inspection prior to termination of tenancy. We have added information related to the new law that requires the housing provider to return the security deposit electronically. Then we have move-out inspection statement. That's the same thing. We have to require the housing provider to return the security deposit electronically. Then we have property showing and representation agreement, in which we have added the disclosure regarding the real estate agency relationship as an attachment required by the new law. Then we have a referral fee agreement. It added a reference to a new the red form, which we just discussed, related to the disclosure of the amount of the referral fees being paid or received. Then we have receipt for reports, add the signature, correct clarity, and expand the use of each section of the form. Then we have the RIPA, which is the residential income purchase agreement, which has to be conformed to the changes in RPA. And then we have the RLA, the residential listing agreement, with which we added the information related to the new law for using digitally altered photograph. Remember when we talk about the digitally altered photograph? In case you use that, you have to include our original photograph without the digitally altered features next to the electronically altered one. So in other words, you have the two pictures. One is original, one is the digitally altered pictures, and this is required by the new law. And also because of these changes, this affect all those the other forms as well, which is listed here. Then we have a residential listing agreement for the open, not the exclusive, but the open arrangement. Then it has to conform to the RLA, and also the residential lease after sale has to conform with the RLMM changes. And then you have the residential listing agreement, the seller reserve conforming to the RLA changes. So a lot of these forms there are changes in them because of the other changes in the other areas of the the other forms. And then we have residential leases or month-to-month agreement. Added paragraph related to the new law that the housing provider to provide stove and the refrigerator, and giving tenant the option to provide and maintain their own refrigerator, which is stipulated in the new law. So all these requirements are included in the RLMM forms. And then finally, we have the versus California residential purchase agreement and joint escrow instruction. This is the RPA that we use it all the time, and there comes substantial changes in which it rearranged all the paragraphs to place the paragraphs to be initialed directly prior to the signature page, and added a disclosure related to the electrical system as required by the new law. And also he updated the GTO, which is the geographic targeting order. Remember, we talked about the FinCEN requirement, where if you have all cash deal and or non-finance deal, you have to have the FinCEN disclosure for the buyers and which are not the entity. And although the FinCEN laws are not effective until the middle of next year, they put it in the RPA already, and they also clarified that the seller also may reject assignment if that request come after the time specified, or if the buyer is receiving compensation for the assignment. So all these changes will affect the all the other forms associated with RPA. So these are the listed forms here. And then we have rental property owner advisory, which we have added information related to the new laws requiring the provider, providing the landlord to provide a stove and refrigerator, and the possibility of housing provider being required to return the security deposit electronically. So these two conditions are incorporated into the rental property owner advisory. And then we have a rental property owner intake form. So you have added question about the existence of a stove and refrigerator required by the new law. And then you have seller counter offer, clarify the time frame where there's a late acceptance. Then we have seller multiple counter offer, clarify the time frames when there's a late acceptance. Those are very minor changes. Then we have substantive changes in the solar advisory and questionnaire, and then is divided into three sections: advisory section, questionnaire, instruction section, and the questionnaire section. So we clarify and add the information to the advisory to provide better explanation for the clients, and also added a question about solar documents, which can be should be provided to the buyer, and also have added or clarified questions to provide more information to buyer. Then lastly, you have checked it by the checkbox, add the checkboxes to own, lease, or the subject to a power purchase agreement to provide more clarity for the solar. So this is a substantive change in the solar advisory question. So it's worthwhile to look at it in more detail. And then we have SPQ, which is added question related to any requirement for the future replacement of gas appliances, and also added a question related to the residue from smoking the tobacco or nicotine products as required by the new law. Then we have short sale, the listing addendum, which is very minor. You really don't have to pay too much attention, and it's silent to the public. No, it's not published. Published. Okay, the short term, and then you have short term rental agreement. Added a paragraph that is related to cleaning fees as required by new law related to the advertising on internet, and including cleaning fees. Then we have short term rental the listing. I have added information about new law regarding to the advertisement of internet and inclusion of cleaning fee. Then we have move out inspection summary, which we add the information related to the new law that may require the housing provider to return the security deposit electronically. And then you have short-term rental advisory, add information about new law. The same thing to advertising on the internet and including cleaning fees. Then we have the septic tank information, and it's added the clarification language about the time to deliver the items or perform the actions in the SWPI. So the SWPI include the septic inspection, well inspection, and property monuments, and propane tank and allocation of cost addendum. And then we have real estate transfer, the disclosure statement, which is the TDS, which is very minor changes. You really don't have to worry too much about it, and it's not published to the public. And then we have a team agreement, also the same thing, very minor changes. Team member exit agreement, very minor changes, and we really shouldn't concerned about it too much. And then we have offer of tenant positive rental payment reporting. No substantive change, just clarify the language to make terms clearer. And then we have UOA, unsolicited offer station, which we just mentioned. It's a new one, and it has to be given to some of the deals in the mentioned zip codes. Then we have vacant land listing agreement, confirmed to the changes in RLA. I have vacant land purchase agreement, also make changes in the RPA. The wildfire, the disclosure advisory, I get updated and information resources, added a warning about the buyer responsibility to obtain the compliance post-closing, if applicable. In other words, you give the buyer notice that after the closing of escrow, they have certain responsibility to obtain the compliance for the wildfire disaster. Okay, so that's it. And as you see, it's not too much, for you to handle. Actually, all you have to do is sit down a couple hours and just go through some of the changes, and most of them are very minor. And but nevertheless, you should be aware of all the changes and updated your checklist. Okay, so as I said, this is nature of the beast, and it's a necessary evil. You just have to do it. Okay, you do it once, and then you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so anything you want to ask me? I know it's every time we have a new form, it's a hassle, for all the agents, and it's a hassle for the management too, because we have to keep you informed, All right, any questions or anything at all you want to say or talk about? We still have 5 minutes.
I got a question regarding
Yeah,
those
okay,
new
buddy.
forms, Peter.
Yeah,
Are we going to have some kind of a
training.
recap or a training
Oh,
with
yeah,
this,
yeah, yeah.
with these new forms? Okay.
Yeah, we will have several
Yes.
ones. I'm sure that Michelle will inform you after the release. We will have some training sessions, right,
Okay.
Michelle?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we normally do it after and then
Yes.
go over them.
Yeah, today is just a preview. I usually do
Okay,
a
yeah,
preview
I
first, and then later on, Michelle will go on to the particulars
thank
in
you.
more details. Yeah. Yes.
Can I say something too?
Yeah, Sylvia.
Hi, good morning. Also too, as a reinforcer, the recording of this program, I mean, we could always go back to, right? So
Right.
and the PDF that you always send to us too,
Yes.
the PowerPoint, I should say.
Yeah, actually the PDF is very useful because you can go back and forth and then check on it, and it's summarized in a very concise way, so
Yes,
you don't have to spend the whole thing of looking at the actual document and try to look for the changes.
yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? Any questions? Any things you want to share? Okay, well, if no questions, I would wish you a very nice week. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of you this Friday, okay? Please do come. It should be fun. It should be very
And
fun.
it's 1 o'clock, right?
1 o'clock, 1 to 4. And after that, you can stay behind to sing or whatever you do. Should be fun. Yes. Okay? All right. Have a nice week,
Bye-bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.